the internet. They can see the power of Facebook. That's the same thing that has brought change throughout the Middle East. Because originally, deposits been raised to a level where they thought it would be difficult for ordinary people to stand for election. The PAP wanted politics to be a rich man's game. But now, thanks to the power of Facebook and the internet, we can overcome those hurdles. So change is coming to Singapore. The PAP don't understand change. Their policies are rooted in the past. They may have worked very well 20 or 30 years ago when Dr. Goh Keng Swee was around, but they don't work anymore and they don't have any answers. I mean, the HDB policy dates back to socialist Britain in the 1950s. It was a great idea for rehousing Singaporeans when they lived in slum conditions or in the kampongs. But it doesn't work for a modern advanced country. You should have your own property. The foreign worker policy, again, this dates back to the rationale behind it dates back to our early industrialization, because it was based mainly on adding inputs rather than using them more productively. It was the same one as in use in the Soviet Union, and we all know what happened to the Soviet Union. So when they ran out of inputs of labor in Singapore, they brought in cheap labor from overseas because they didn't know how to grow the economy by increasing the productivity of our own workforce. In fact, our productivity has been the worst of any advanced economy, and about half that of the US over the last 10 years.
Yeah, we work longer hours.
Yeah, and Singaporeans work the longest hours of any advanced economy. So you need to get us into Parliament, because even though we'll win we'll only be able to win a few seats at this election, that will start the change. The PAP says Aljunied GRC is the only hot seat. Are you going to show them wrong on May the 7th? The Reform Party wants stricter curbs on foreign workers. We want a Singaporean first policy in employment. We want to stop the abuse of the employment pass system so that employers can bring in unrestricted numbers of foreign workers, provided their salary is notionally about $2,500 a month. We want to see what is the point of touting our educational institutions as being among the best in the world if we still need so many foreign graduates. And the Reform Party, to help our lower skilled workers, would introduce a minimum wage. And the PAP say that workfare is a better system, but the problem with workfare is you might the employer might cut the wage that he pays you, and you might end up earning the same after workfare as before workfare. And the PAP say that minimum wage would increase unemployment. But in fact, it might increase employment because employers might hire Singaporean workers. government or the PAP have been talking about our low birth rate and the need to bring in the rationale for bringing in foreign workers is that we are not reproducing ourselves. But the Reform Party intends to introduce a system of child income support that would pay more to families depending on the number of children they had. And lest anybody think that we are just out there to spend the reserves, we are going to insist that our budget surplus, the $300 billion that we've accumulated over the last 10 years, we are going to ensure that we safeguard the reserves, but ensure that it's spent in. We will safeguard the reserves